everybody, this is Keith Gleason back with another comic review. Before I get started on that, just an update on the Mighty Mascots campaign. Issues 4 and 5 are done. 6 is nearing completion as well. All the artwork is in, just waiting for a few more colored pages. And the lettering has already started on that. So we're hoping to get that wrapped up in March. And then we will start fulfilling the campaign once all 3 books are printed. And then it'll be available on alternate access probably later this year. Also, don't forget X-Farce Reloaded is still going on right now on Indiegogo. And me and the Mighty Mascots team have a story in there. And if you like parodies of the X-Men or, like old stuff like Cracked Magazine or Mad Magazine, definitely check out that campaign. And please consider backing it. All right. So this week's review is a book called Caspian Porter. It's the creative team is the creator, writer, and letterist, Drew Linhart. And the artist and colorist is Juan Fleites, I think is how you say it. I know I probably butchered both of those names, but please forgive me. Anyways, I got this review sent to me, or this book sent to me not too long ago. I usually go in order of, books that I receive for review. But I bumped this one up because these guys have a Kickstarter going for these very 2 issues. So that's why I'm doing the review early, so that if you guys see this review, like what you see, please head on over to Kickstarter and then back these guys. Basically, the story it's a sci-fi action comedy kind of hybrid. The character Caspian Porter is sort of like this intergalactic delivery boy, which he kind of resents, as you can see in the first issue. He's kind of one of those characters that's kind of like a lovable screw-up type. And the 0 issue, you really get into his colossal mess up, basically. Basically, I don't want to spoil too much, but basically he gets into a situation where he's way over his head and has to kind of flee the scene. And it kind of flows right into issue 1. I really enjoyed it. Caspian Porter is like a fun character. He kind of reminded me of, there was a comic that came out a few years ago, or maybe not even a few, I'd say over 10 years ago, by Rick Remender, called Fear Agent. The look of Caspian Porter reminds me of him, and sort of in the same kind of vein where Fear Agent was kind of like an alcoholic loser. Caspian Porter's more of like a fun loser, I guess. I mean, if you want to make distinctions between losers, I guess, right? But another way I would describe this character is if Adam Strange from the DC universe was just a colossal screw-up, But yeah, that's sort of like how I would describe this character. The artwork by Juan Fleites is very good. It's not overly rendered, and you can clearly tell what's happening in every panel, which is great. And the sequentials are really good. So the storytelling flow of the pages is really well done. I even say Drew did a great job lettering. And then I also want to make a point about that is like Drew does exactly what I do. I write and I letter my own books. I find, and if I ever talk to Drew one day, I find that lettering, if you're a writer and you learn the skill of lettering, it's so much easier to fix little things. Because like when you get the artwork back from the artist, sometimes the artwork isn't quite what you want. But sometimes you can just save it with, the tweak to the dialogue, So I kind of find that being a letterer of your own book is very helpful. In there's been numerous times where the artwork didn't come back exactly what I wanted, and then you could kind of throw in a line or two that kind of makes it make sense. I don't know. It's one of those pet peeves that I always give writers. Anybody that ever asks me advice on writing in comics, I always say to learn how to letter so that you could do that. But anyways, sorry to sidetrack to that. It's a fun story. If you're looking for, like just a fun, sci-fi comedy action book, this is right up your alley. Definitely check them out on Kickstarter. The Kickstarter started on February 15th, so it's still going on now. And pretty reasonably priced, to get both issues. And it looks like it's going to be, I don't know if it's a limited series, but it looks like it's definitely going to progress with more issues coming. So this is a great way to get in on the ground floor of this series. The company that put this out is Snowy Works, which I reviewed another one of their books a couple months ago called Wall Breakers. And I mentioned then, too, that I really thought this company was kind of very fun. It had a lot of, a cool, different titles that weren't necessarily superhero, but all kinds of different genres, like sci-fi and, fantasy and things like that. There's a company to keep an eye out on. This is the second book I've reviewed for them, and both books have been excellent. So keep an eye out on them, Snowy Works, and then there'll be a link to their website in the description of the video. Definitely, this is a recommend on my end. If you like those things I talked about, definitely consider backing these guys on Kickstarter, and I'll put a link to the Kickstarter in the description, and then also I'll show some of it on the screen here as well. But yeah, that's it for this week's review.